CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with rising gas prices across the region, a direct impact of the rising violence in the Middle East. And as Sean Irvin reports, the increase was expected, just not this soon.
Krista Lockyer already has gas price fatigue.
Actually, it's funny because as soon as I was driving in, I was kind of like that, feeling like, really, it started already?
Indeed, it has. In the wake of the conflict between the United States, Israel, and Iran, prices rose overnight. By midday, the price of regular gas at stations in the London area hit as high as $1.44 a litre. Diesel climbed far higher. Bottom line, even compact car drivers are feeling the pinch.
I would say it's been like at least 25 cents a liter, which is a lot.
The uncertainty of the conflict is a stress on consumers, but it's also one for experts who are having a hard time predicting just how high prices might go. Throughout the course of this week, experts have weighed in with CTV News.
It's a very difficult situation. We haven't seen this since the 70s.
And there are so many potential scenarios in a war footing that could happen, which could move prices back and forth when it comes to crude oil and wholesale gasoline prices.
Roger McKnight, an Enpro gas analyst, has said that if the price of a barrel of oil rises to $80, the price at the pump will jump by 8 cents. If it hits $100, the price you pay will rise by 20 cents. That is an unsettling fact, whether you're a Londoner on a budget or not.
People don't have nearly as much money as they used to. Always filling up gas, depending on what price, could be a struggle for some people.
And with reasons for the price increase out of the control of Londoners, most have little choice but to pay up.
I mean, there's not really a lot that we can do, that's for sure. Just praying.
Praying that
things will change, that there will be changes in this world, things will settle down.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
U.S. authorities have closed several embassies in the Middle East amid Iranian retaliation strikes. American and Canadian officials are also telling citizens to find a way out of the region as soon as they can. And on top of that, the Iranians have also hit Turkey, which is a NATO member. With more on the response, here's Adrian Gobriel.
Pulled from the waters along the southern coast of Turkey, this is the remains of a NATO interceptor missile that knocked an Iranian attack out of the sky. Turkey's President Tayyip Erdogan saying his country is in close consultation with NATO allies while warning Iran a similar incident cannot occur again. In Iran, thunderous explosions echoed across the besieged nation as Israeli forces confirm they've begun a 10th wave of strikes, with U.S. forces hitting deeper into the country. In the 5 days since this war broke out, more than 1,000 people have been killed in Iran, according to a U.S.-based human rights organization. In Lebanon, smoldering debris sends smoke billowing into the sky in Beirut, where the IDF has vowed to uproot Iranian-backed Hezbollah after it launched strikes into Israel.
The numbers are increasing. We have more than 80,000 people, including 24,000 children, forcibly displaced in Lebanon. Many were still displaced since the previous escalation.
This video shared by the U.S. Department of Defense showing the moment a U.S. submarine sank an Iranian warship. The bodies of some 80 sailors reported dead at sea, located by rescuers along the southern coast of Sri Lanka. With 3 other NATO nations, Greece, Britain, and France, sending naval and Air Force personnel to Cyprus following Iranian drone attacks there, this expanding conflict has reached new shores. More than 100,000 Canadian citizens and permanent residents in the Middle East have registered with Global Affairs Canada. CTV News visited the Canadian consulate in Istanbul to try and ask questions on behalf of Canadians stuck in the midst of this conflict. Passport in hand, security inside this building refused to allow us to enter the consulate. Our request to interview Canada's ambassador to Turkey was also denied.
This is Adrian Gobriel with CTV National News.
One official speaking on background tells CTV News that a range of options are being looked at to help evacuate Canadians by land and air, while assisting those in Iran remains the most difficult, without an embassy inside that country.
Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Istanbul.
One of the 4 suspects in the Chesham Place weapons investigation has been granted bail. With more on his release conditions and where the case goes from here, here's Nick Paparella.
As he stood in the prisoner's box, 26-year-old Zaykoon Wang could be seen wiping away tears. After a bail hearing last week, Justice of the Peace Christine Diaz approved his release from custody with strict conditions. The master's student came from China in 2012 to study at Western, and among his bail conditions, he and his parents had to surrender their passports. He will be under house arrest at his parents' home in Richmond Hill with a GPS ankle monitor. He and his family are pledging a total of $410,000, and he's not allowed to be on a cell phone or a computer, with the Justice of the Peace saying the blanket order is that you are not to access the internet. Facts surrounding the case were read out in court, but a ban on publication prevents us from disclosing the details. Wang and 3 others were charged after police searched a home on Chesham Place in North London following a break-in at Western University. All 4 face a rash of explosives and weapons-related offenses, including manufacturing firearms and possession of explosives. Wang's lawyer is Nick Cake.
He's happy to be released. He's happy to be back with his parents, going back home where we can now start planning for the next steps. But he's happy that this evening he will not be in a cage.
In another courtroom, co-accused 25-year-old Fei Han made a brief appearance after his bail was denied last month. He is expected back in court on Friday. Meanwhile, the other 2 charged, 27-year-old Jerry Tong and 21-year-old Astrid G, have appearances later in March. Wang's next court date is slated for April 23rd.
We are going to start moving the case forward. There are a number of items that we're still waiting for by way of disclosure. We need to start reviewing the circumstances and come up with a game plan as to how we're going to attack these charges.
Nick Paparella, CTV News.
The pool at the East Lyons Community Centre will be closed this summer for major repairs. City staff say it's a 3-month project replacing windows, the latest in a long list of setbacks for the facility that's just 4 years old. Brian Bicknell reports.
It's a place to come and cool off, but pool users at East Lyons will have to find somewhere else to take a dip this summer.
It's disappointing. You know, the summer's coming. That's when people want to use it the most, even though it is indoors. It's still a pool to cool off.
The city says it has to close East Lyons indoor pool from July 2nd until the end of September to replace the pool windows. The work will address previous damage and improve on design.
It's not great news in that we are not going to have our pool for the summer. We'll be closing after Canada Day. But it is good news in that a permanent fix is coming, and we're going to do this during the summer while our other outdoor pools, Stronach, Silverwoods, are open so that people have other options.
They're supposed to let in the sunlight into the pool area, but for the time being, nearly half the windows along the west side of the building along the pool have been boarded up with a mural painted over top. It will stay this way until it's time to get the work done. The 4-year-old, $21 million community center has been beset with problems since its groundbreaking in 2017. Labor disputes and the firing of the original contractor led to delayed openings. In February 2023, part of the roof collapsed, and later that year, vandals destroyed windows. In 2024, the city found water damage in the ceiling, and last fall, a hydro transformer malfunctioned, causing a power outage. Meantime, a lawsuit from the city against the builder and architect is ongoing.
Our team and the bonding company's team are still working on it, and that's really all I can say about it right now, is that it's an ongoing process.
The city says this spring it will offer passes to pool users at East Lyons to access other city pools. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Provincial police say heavy fog was at least partly to blame for a serious school bus crash in Huron County this morning. Scott Miller has more on the outcome and the investigation.
A A severely damaged school bus is towed from the scene just a few hours after being T-boned by a tractor trailer just north of Seaforth this morning.
A tractor trailer hit the bus about midway up the frame and spun the bus right around. So all 3 occupants of the bus were injured, thankfully with minor injuries. They've been treated locally at the Seaforth Hospital. The driver of the truck received minor injuries as well.
The collision happened shortly after 8 o'clock this morning after police say the school bus entered the intersection of North Line and Summerhill Road. There were only 2 high school students on the bus at the time of the collision, which closed a section of North Line for the entire morning.
I understand the collision happened just after 8 a.m., so that may have been at the start of the pickup route. But yes, if the school was full of children on board, I did see earlier some of the windows had blown out of the side of the school bus here. So glass, just the fact the impact itself would have been quite a violent impact. So this could have been much worse. Bad enough, but yes.
It was extremely foggy at the time of the crash, say police, canceling several, but not all school buses in Huron County.
This could have been a lot worse. We do know that fog was a factor at the time. There was thick fog in the area, so that'll be taken a look at as well.
This isn't the only school bus involved collision or crash this month in our region. A school bus carrying 40 children careened into a ditch near Woodstock 2 weeks ago. That, along with more drivers running school bus stop signs, has prompted a school bus safety blitz by the West Region OPP this week.
We've noted, I think, in excess of 30 school bus-related collisions in the last few months in our region alone. And it's just so much damage and potential for injury here, and we just have to do something about it. So the OPP is going to be out there keeping an eye.
Police say no charges have been laid as a result of the collision this morning, as of yet. A collision that most certainly could have been worse, potentially fatal. Near Winthrop, Scott Miller, CTV News.
A letter from City Councillor Susan Stevenson to her colleagues was heavily redacted on this week's council agenda. With more on the letter's subject matter and why the public might be restricted from viewing its contents, here's Daryl Newcomb.
Why it had to be so heavily redacted.
Councillor Susan Stevenson shocked that only 2 sentences of her letter to council colleagues remained unredacted on the public agenda of this week's council meeting. She tells CTV News the letter explained that the Integrity Commissioner dismissed 2 complaints that she violated the Code of Conduct. Those complaints had received widespread attention in the news and on social media, but the Integrity Commissioner decided they didn't warrant a full investigation. So she feels her exoneration letters should become part of the public record.
I had received reports vindicating me completely on 2 very critical and important complaints, and I received letters from the Integrity Commissioner that are in no way marked confidential. So I believed that it was okay for me to choose to share those on the public agenda.
It's not unusual to see small redactions on a public agenda at City Hall. Typically, it's contact information of a member of the public who has submitted an email or a letter. However, such an extensive redaction of a city councillor's letter is definitely unusual. City Hall's 1-sentence response to CTV News is simply, quote, "The documents that were sought to be added to the council agenda were not in the corporation's possession and not part of the public record." Political scientist Dr. Andrew Sancton tells CTV News.
If they're going to post the results of investigations that have been conducted, I don't see why they couldn't also post a notification saying that there were these kinds of complaints, but they were dismissed without an investigation.
Sancton adds that posting the document on the city website might not actually achieve what the councillor is seeking.
I would think people actually might be more likely to look at CTV News website than City of London website for stuff like this.
Stevenson acknowledges trying to work with city staff on the language of her letter and consented to having them redact what they felt was necessary, but didn't expect just 2 sentences to remain.
If you receive a letter saying that there's no finding against you, and I'm not even allowed to share it on the public agenda at council, then it makes it very difficult to, quite frankly, clear my name.
Stevenson has yet to decide if she'll publish the unredacted letter on her social media. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
The London Knights hosted the Guelph Storm earlier tonight at Canada Life Place. That was Ryan Brown's team-leading 20th goal of the season. It gave the Knights a comfortable lead midway through the second period. The Storm were able to claw a couple goals back, bringing themselves to within 2, but the Knights' offense was too much tonight. Final score, Knights 5, Storm 2. 5 different goal scorers for London. Their next game is Friday night when they host the Erie Otters. City officials in St. Thomas are celebrating the community's 145th birthday.
We always love a good party, and we want to party like it's 1881. However, we wanted to bring out families and kids and everyone to support the city. It's important to us to have community programs and events and family friendly, and why not have, a celebration even in March while we're getting ready for the spring.
Residents were invited to the Joe Thornton Community Center for the festivities, which featured a free skate, music, and food. The mayor was also on hand for a ceremonial puck drop before the St. Thomas Stars home game tonight.
Happy to be here for the happy 145th birthday of the city of St. Thomas. No, I was not at the first one, but it's great to see this many people celebrating the birthday of St. Thomas and watching the Stars win tonight. And a lot of people here, and we're looking forward to seeing the win.
When we come back, competing for a government contract. What's at stake as Canada narrows down who will build our next generation of submarines? Canada's main stock index was up, regaining some of yesterday's losses. The TSX gained 158 points. In New York, the Dow added 238, the Nasdaq up 291. The Canadian dollar rose 1/10 of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold gained $11 an ounce and oil added a dime a barrel. The federal government has now received a pair of competing bids to build Canada's next generation of submarines. With more on the contenders and how they will be judged, here's Judy Trin.
Over the next decade, Canada will invest $470 billion in the defense sector.
It is not accurate to separate economic growth from military investments.
The biggest purchase the government will make, 12 submarines. South Korea's Hanwha and Germany's TKMS have submitted their bids. Analysts say the race is tight.
We've really set it up with the possibility of it being a choice the country makes, not just about buying the military piece of equipment, but about establishing a much tighter relationship with one of our two key allies.
Here's how the bids will be evaluated. The submarine's capabilities will be weighted at 20%. The plan to maintain the fleet weighted at 50%. The cost of the boat and the consideration of strategic partnerships will be evenly considered.
We've signed a number of MOUs here in Canada, well over 20 now. The economic offsets associated with that, we've calculated around 25,000 jobs annually between now and 2044.
Both Hanwha and TKMS have partnered with about 24 Canadian companies and research institutes. These partners will make components and weapons for the subs. Several companies have signed deals with both the Germans and the South Koreans.
They cannot predict who will win. I have said that, their astrologers aren't good enough, and therefore they cannot pick sides. They cannot afford to pick sides. And the good news is that they're able to sign these agreements with both Hanwha and with TKMS.
TKMS makes 70% of the submarines for NATO, while Hanwha could open doors for its Canadian partners in the Indo-Pacific.
Multiple sources tell CTV News that the federal government will choose the winning submarine bid by June, before Parliament rises for the summer. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Good evening, I'm Rita Ismail. The clouds starting to increase as we head into the night. We are tracking the next low pressure system that will approach for Thursday, bringing in widespread rainfall. And as a result, we do have a weather statement issued, a flood outlook bulletin by the Upper Thames River Conservation Authority that is in place from March 4th to the 10th. All the melting snowpacks and the warm temperatures will result in elevated water levels right across the region starting on Friday. So do use extreme caution caution near the waterways. Don't try to drive through flooded roadways. And of course, keep in mind this is in place as the water levels will remain elevated right into next week, March 10th. I'll walk you through the next 48 hours and tell you about the rainfall that is moving in and a warm pattern that is setting up for the weekend.
Welcome back on the desk with Rita Ismail. And Rita, I know it's 6 o'clock. You kind of described the next couple days as a taste of spring. It was a delicious taste of spring today. Beautiful, although sounds like we're in for some rain with that spring showers on the way.
You got it, absolutely. Today was perfect. Sunshine and mild conditions, but the next few will have the mild part, but certainly a little bit more wet. Our high today, 9 degrees, normal this time of year. We are well above that at 2 degrees is what we're supposed to be seeing. Record, though, back in 1966, we hit 15 degrees, and that's where we're headed this weekend. Record low, minus 23 in 1950. As we head into the night, we do have increasing cloud cover. It's all associated with this low pressure system sitting to the south. Now, as this gradually lifts, we will be in and out of showers for your Thursday. And in with this system is that milder air mass and the double-digit daytime highs. Let's put this into motion. You can see lots of cloud cover. There's that first round of rainfall, again, along the northern shores of Lake Erie into Elgin County overnight tonight, some mixed precipitation. For the most part, it will be morning drizzle. Then a bit of a break later in the afternoon, mostly cloudy. And then there's that widespread rain around 3 to 4 p.m. and then not really moving out until about 8 or 9. In the evening, some embedded heavier rainfall and non-severe thunderstorms. That pushes out. We're in a lot of cloud cover for your Friday, but expecting to stay dry for the most part on Friday before a second round of rainfall moves in on Saturday. And again, with that, we'll be dealing with warm temperatures. 17 degrees is our forecast high for Saturday. Tomorrow, though, we'll start the day off at 2 degrees. The winds will be out of the east 15 kilometers per hour. But as that system crosses through, those winds will start to gust later in the day. And we'll have that heavier rainfall and windy conditions in the evening for your Thursday. Friday, mostly cloudy, warming up 11 degrees. And then 17 on Saturday, mostly cloudy, light rainfall for you on Saturday. Sunday looks like a beautiful day, 12 degrees under a mix of sun and cloud. And same thing goes for Monday. Heading into next week, we hold on to that warmth on Tuesday, but then that pattern change will push through Wednesday. We'll actually start the day off at 8 degrees and then tumble to -4 Wednesday heading into Thursday. Midwestern Ontario, similar conditions in store for you, although a little bit less rainfall as that system is moving in from the south tomorrow. You are expecting to get more rain on Saturday with that high of 15 degrees. And then 10 on Sunday, nice mix of sun and cloud. Dry conditions Sunday and Monday, 14 degrees on Tuesday. Light rainfall pushes back in. And behind that system midweek, Wednesday, we will see the temperatures drop back down to near seasonal values. Carlyle?
Thanks, Rita. There was a large protest outside the Ontario legislature today, led by post-secondary students opposed to the government's planned changes for financial assistance. With more on their message, here's Siobhan Morris.
Hundreds of people jammed onto the lawn of the Ontario legislature, angry and worried about changes the Ford government is making to OSAP.
I don't think he understands that we need this money to be able to continue our education.
Students streamed in from campuses near and far.
There's a group of us here from Trent University. We got on a bus today and we're all here today from Peterborough. You know, we're here for this.
The government's reducing the number of grants available through OSAP, putting a greater emphasis on loans that need to be paid back.
If these don't get reversed, I'm going to have to start off my education, my career in adulthood, and thousands of dollars of debt.
A lot more debt, a lot less ability to take classes. Everything costs money.
It puts those studying for in-demand jobs like early childhood education in limbo.
I want to go back. I hope I can.
It is a big decision and it will affect my entire future.
The Minister of Colleges and Universities says the changes are meant to rebalance a system that's become unsustainable. Students will still be able to get help with OSAP.
They're just going to make a little bit of a bigger investment into their future career earnings, but that will pay off tenfold once they graduate and go into their career choices.
It's the scale of that change that's unsettled students.
If he wants to make people not riot, he can, at the very least, make it a gradual change, but even that's not enough.
Hours later, some demonstrators clashed with police just outside Queen's Park. This student got caught up in it.
I turn back around, I'm looking at this guy, and he shoves me out of nowhere. He breaks my headphones here, rips me right through to my jacket.
Toronto police say they arrested 2 people. A statue of George Brown was also defaced with spray paint and markers. Opposition leaders say the turnout here today shows just how deep the worry around OSAP has become. They're planning to make their own noise when the legislature resumes in a few weeks.
Well, we're going to ask them to reverse the cuts on OSAP. We may go further than that. We're working on something right now.
The thing I know about Doug Ford is he tends to see the light when he feels the heat.
Heat students are promising to keep turning up. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Finally tonight, the OFSAA Basketball Championships are coming to London next week, an event the city hasn't hosted in 15 years. As Brent Lail reports, the tournament hosts have their eyes on the podium.
The best high school basketball teams in the province are coming to the Forest City.
It's an incredible experience, have our own school, our own community here. The whole of London will come when OFSAA comes around.
Reigning OFSAA silver medalist Mother Teresa is hosting the tournament next Monday to Wednesday, with games also being played at Fanshawe College. The City of London will see hundreds of thousands of dollars in economic impact.
About 2,000 visitors are going to visit the city, so we've done well in terms of connecting with local sponsors and companies. So we're looking forward to highlighting the city, and then we're going to let our play on the court showcase the city.
The WASA champion Spartans should be a top seed at provincials.
Our boys have been working hard, like you said. Last year coming up short in that silver medal game. And I think our roster just as deep as we were last year.
They won multiple tournaments this year and knocked off a strong Saunders team to win the city final.
Our team chemistry, our communication, our defense, our offense. We have people who know how to rebound. We have people who know how to shoot properly. Everyone knows their role on the team. No one tries to be one more than the other.
Jackson McGilvery joked he doesn't remember the last time London hosted OFSAA. That's because he was just 2 years old. In 2011, Beal lost in the quarterfinals in a tournament which featured NBA star Andrew Wiggins, whose Vaughan team won the gold.
How does it feel to be a Quad A champ?
It feels good. First time, grade 10 doing it.
After losing in last year's championship in Kingston, the hosts want that feeling of cutting down the nets.
We want to win it all this year. We think that we're better than every team. Sure, we've had a couple downs with Cathedral and a little bit of a battle with Saunders, but we feel like we can push through and come out on top.
I think Saunders is on the verge as well, so I think if things shape up, our boys play well, we should be hopefully in that medal game.
Brent Lail, CTV News.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.